Elon Musk's plans for Tesla Motors go far beyond producing high-end electric vehicles. He wants to engineer a new business model for the auto industry, a company that develops, manufactures, sells, and services its own cars.
They're not going to just revolutionize the electric vehicle. They're going to do it from Palo Alto, not use traditional engineering. They're going to supposedly be faster to market, although that remains to be seen. They're not going to use a traditional dealership network. In the end, it begins to look a bit like the same sort of Quixotic quest that DeLorean himself was on, and that gets very difficult to do.
A goal that's just too ambitious, industry analysts say, even for the high-flying Musk.
What you're saying is, we're going to revolutionize not one aspect of the industry, we're going to take on everything, every flaw that we see in the auto industry. And the industry is replete with flaws.
An electric car is still an unknown thing to most people. It takes most people a while to get comfortable with new technology and verify that it really works as claimed.
They are all operating with lithium-ion pouch batteries, not lithium-ion cylindrical batteries that Tesla is. So Tesla is riding down the consumer electronics cost curve, which is much, much lower than that lithium-ion pouch. So, you know, in the early days, no one wanted to do batteries this way. In fact, they made fun of Tesla for building its car on top of cell phone batteries that were going to blow up.
So if you add up all the EVs, all electric vehicles in the world, all the batteries that they use, that's approximately equal to what we make at the Gigafactory. The Gigafactory in Shanghai, I think this might be it's the fastest large factory construction that I've ever seen. And maybe there's something faster, but I'm not aware of it because it was amazing. I think the number of drones flying over the factory is pretty nutty. We need air traffic control. In the ideal circumstance, you receive the payment for the car before you have to pay for all of the ingredients of the car. Then the faster you grow, the more capital you have. So it is very important to localize the product production and have the supply chain be close by and for everything to move really fast. Because then you can actually scale. And the faster you scale, the more cash you have. Whereas the counterpoint is if you have to pay for all of the ingredients long before you get paid for the car, which is currently true for cars that are outside the US, because we have to put them on a boat, go through customs, then transport them within Europe and China. So, our non-US production is challenging from a cash flow standpoint. Because we have to pay for everything long before we get paid for the car. And so a big advantage of the local production in China and Europe will be solving for that cash flow gap.
Sells and services its own cars.
I'm actually really excited about our mobile service. So we have mobile service vans that will come fix your car as soon as it breaks down. It actually will immediately send a note to Tesla Mobile Service, and will be on its way to fix the car. And so we're actually we trialed it in the Bay Area, and now have extended it to the LA area and a number of others for tire repair. So we'll just come. The van will arrive, give you a new tire in half an hour, and you're on your way. And we're adding things like bumper repair and minor collision repair. So, if I look at the things that most trouble customers, it's like things like collision repair taking an eternity, a third-party body shop charging an arm and a leg after taking an eternity. We're moving a lot of the body repair in-house at Tesla, and then even providing it on mobile service. And we just did our first bumper replacement from mobile service van. So like typically collision repair can take weeks or months. In this case, it took less than an hour.
you're saying is we're going to revolutionize not one aspect of the industry, we're going to take on everything.
We spent a lot of time on design of the pickup truck, so it's I think it's going to be great, like, I think it's the coolest car I've ever seen, to be frank. I think not everyone may share that opinion, but worst case scenario, we'll build a normal looking truck. We know what those look like. This is something that'll, if you're driving it down a road, just look like it came out of a sci-fi movie. Like, we're trying to create something here that is really new and not just derivative of all the other vehicles on the road. That when we try to create something new, and it's not just basically a copy of the form factor of everything else, but you still want it to be great. It's very hard. This is a very hard thing. Our goal here is to have something that's more functional than an F-150, which is a great truck, and tough-selling vehicle in the US, but then also a better sports car than a basic 911. So that's a hard one, but like, it's physically possible. I think we can do it. And then the semi, which we look forward to getting into production, hopefully towards the end of next year. A lot of this also is dependent on our ability to manufacture a lot of cells and make a lot of battery packs. So there's not much point in adding product complexity if we don't have enough batteries. then it's complexity but without gain. So we're matching the product rollout according to the scaling of battery production. That's really the main limiting factor. And then as we scale battery production to very high levels, we actually have to look further down the supply chain, we might get into the mining business. I don't know. So we'll do whatever we have to ensure that we can scale at the fastest rate possible. A little bit, at least. If I were an outside investor, I would really focus on two things. What is the timeline to full self-driving, and what is your plan to scale battery production and get the cost per kilowatt hour lower? Those are, it's basically battery cells and full self-driving. Those are the two strategic things that are of most importance. It's close to being amazing. It's not quite there, but it's close. There's a lot of complexity in parking lots, turns out. It would be very easy if you were like on open ground and you summon the car and it just drive to you. That's no problem. But if you got to navigate through a parking lot and you're effectively going through a maze with a lot of obstacles and people moving and cars moving, that's quite tricky. But it's close to being magical. I think that the scale at which Tesla is growing is hard to appreciate. But I mean, last year we doubled our fleet. So we made as many cars last year as we had in our entire history. And this year, it's going to be pretty similar, at least sort of 60 to 80% growth of the total vehicle fleet, maybe more than that. So it's hard to be profitable with that level of growth. We could slow down, but then that would not be good for sustainability and the cores of electric vehicles and solar and storage and all that. But I think we can be cash flow positive despite having a very high growth rate.
They're going to supposedly be faster to market, although that remains to be seen.
I'm sometimes a little optimistic about timeframes. It's time you knew. It's time you knew. Yeah, optimism. I mean, would I be doing this if I wasn't optimistic? Jeez.